Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. So what's coming next after Star Citizen Alpha 3.13's release? Roll on Alpha 3.14. This is a breakdown of plans for that patch, but we also know there's going to be a little bit of stuff coming after 3.13's initial release. There are going to be 3.13.x patches. We're expecting the Hercules C2 and M2 to be part of that. There's Fleet Week, the major sale and in-game event, and Free Flight. There's going to be loads of combat ships as part of that you'll be able to get your hands on and play around with. Probably some new ship releases, and that's coming at the end of May as part of the 3.13 cycle. And we've heard of the Ninetales Lockdown, which will be a Xenothreat type dynamic event. That's potentially going to be a little bit more refined than Xenothreat, but it's also very possible that we'll see that Ninetales Lockdown dynamic event as part of 3.13 as well. Beyond that, though, Star Citizen Alpha 3.14 is the Q2 2021 patch, expected to go live at the end of June, ending the 3.13 cycle. The 3.14 patch cycle roughly runs from July to the end of September, middle of October sort of area. They sort of sometimes go to the middle of October because the 10th of October is Star Citizen's birthday, and that's sort of like when they release the patch or bits of the patch, stuff like that. So, what's in Alpha 3.14? Well, we have a roadmap release view that shows us each of the features planned, with around a 70% confidence for each of them. That means that some of them will get moved or delayed, but we can have a relatively good look at what's planned at the moment and updated every couple of months. So, Crusader as an actual location. This is going to be the first full gas giant to come to the game. We sort of have the area around Crusader now, but we don't have its landing zone. We don't have a proper gas giant there. It is a placeholder thing that you can't actually get to. So we're going to see gameplay and points of interest associated with that gas giant as well. We haven't seen too much of the actual gas cloud tech that's being used for the gas giant itself, or gas giant tech, I suppose, because it's not exactly the same as gas clouds used for everything else, or different things, I should probably say. Volumetric clouds, the clouds used for the coil, all that sort of stuff. The gas clouds that are around for like nebula and used for pockets of interest for the stations and that sort of stuff. It's all different. This beautiful yet dangerous gas giant is home to the Orizon landing zone, which is also included in the release. A picturesque city floating on an orbital latticework, but it's actually only part of the city we're getting in 3.14. We've seen the commercial platform, and we know that we're getting that. With 3.14, we should have hubs, social areas like the Voyager Bar, some shops, and various areas of this floating city garden. But Orizon General and some of the other parts of the landing zone, like the sort of extensive shipyards, are not yet planned for this implementation. So we're going to have a proper hospital later in the year, a proper ship shop, and more. So version 2 of Orizon, which I believe is coming in the end of year 3.16 patch at the moment, it's going to include a lot more for the landing zone. But I am expecting the Mercury Starrunner and Hercules C2 and M2 to be available probably with Orizon in 3.14. However, it's possible they're waiting for the version 2 of the landing zone, so we'll have to wait and see to see where that actually falls. If those ships aren't available to buy in 3.14, I would expect them to be available to rent from the landing zone. We'll have to wait and see though. Quite a big thing, for me at least, is vehicle module swapping. Modularity for ships is starting with 3.14. This will start with the Retaliator, that currently only has its torpedo modules. However, this should expand it to have some other modules that you can swap out. So there's two sort of torp modules, or two modules in the Retaliator that can be swapped out in the Vehicle Manager app. The expected modules that they previously sold and that we will have here are the Living Area, Cargo Module, and Dropship Module. Now, it might only be the Cargo Modules, it might only be the Living Area Modules or whatever, or maybe they've added some more as well. We don't know to what extent we're getting modularity yet and what sort of options we're going to have immediately available here, and I'm expecting more ships to follow pretty quickly afterwards from patch to patch, and for more modules to be available for some of these ships that have yet to be announced. Also, as a bit of a side note, as part of that feature, the modularity and vehicle module swapping, they're able to apparently specify vehicle setup at runtime in Squadron 42, which is important. Potentially, that's also useful for loadouts for ships being spawned for the quantum system when they physicalize NPCs. So bear that in mind. It's probably pretty important tech for the whole of the game, so that NPCs get the correctly loaded out ships for whatever mission or encounter that you might be having with them. You may have thought that signed distance field shields were already in game. Well, they sort of are for a couple of ships. However, 3.14 plans to overhaul all ships and appropriate vehicles with that new tech, and basically better looking shields that conform to hulls better. It should remove issues with shield holes and have damage signified with colours ranging from blue all the way up to a red, to say, oh, this shield is almost broken. I think the tech looks great. I love the little effects for it, because it is a bit of a effect overhaul as well for shields. Yeah, looking really cool there. What? There is another Constellation variant coming out? Well, it's not another one. It's the actual Taurus. The cut-down cargo-focused version of the Connies is actually turning up now. Maybe. It's been repeatedly pushed back and deprioritized for years. However, we've now seen some of its interior, and Cloud Imperium seem confident that it's going to be in 3.14. Also, Cloud Imperium have said that they may take a look at the struts on the other Connies potentially at the same time or around abouts here. So we might see a strutless design and more rigid sort of glass there. For the Connies in the future. There is a lot of medical gameplay planned for this patch. Tier 0 healing, including all the back-end tasks and implementation of the healing feature, NPC healing, which enables players to heal other players and NPCs. This is going to allow players to use items with healing properties, like the med pen on another character or player, but there's also medical tools, both a module for the multi-tool for basic healings, and a more advanced dedicated cure life medical tool for deeper healing, typically used by actual medics. And we know that Cloud Imperium want to have knockdowns and bleed outs, and you're not just dead when you get taken down. There's the potential for you to be revived and that sort of stuff. So it's possible we'll get that gameplay here. We also know that Cloud Imperium are working towards hospitals and clinics in game. Some of those could start opening, because it does mention the Cure Life medical tool for actual medics and NPC medics to use. So we know that they're building a hospital out at Microtech at the moment. There is New Hope Hospital in Norville, and they've said, oh, we might open up some clinics around some stations and stuff. So some of these locations might open up in 3.14. Expect these features all to combine into something that would be considered a solid first iteration of healing and medical mechanics. We've got things like tracking as well that adds to it, and we're most likely going to see changes and updates to the Mobiglass and the player status system as well, at least in terms of sort of like getting updates to its UI and additional statuses and some other effects that you might be under. But hopefully we'll have knockdowns and bleed outs, and you can be rescued on the floor, and missions may be associated with that medical gameplay. We have some extremely long awaited and important scanning and radar updates. So there's an improved signature system that supports much greater distances and the dampening of signatures by environmental interference and larger entities. This will allow for significantly deeper stealth gameplay, but also allows for better tracking gameplay and interesting stuff like that. You'll actually need to start scanning sort of ships down and looking for them, and a bit more cat and mousey if you don't want to be discovered yourself, or maybe you're mining and you haven't noticed pirates. There's a lot of cool stuff they can do with scanning and radar updates. Radar is used to passively locate and track contacts and display their whereabouts to the player. Scanning is used to obtain information about a specific entity. Ping actively finds additional contacts or highlights volumes of space to investigate weak signatures, all of which are displayed via the radar and its AR, augmented reality HUD elements. This is all seeing improvements in 3.14, or at least that's the plan, and I suspect that will lead on to lots of locational-based gameplay, exploration, bounty hunting, tracking, scanning stuff down for points of interest, stealth, and lots more in the future. We are even getting the on-foot FPS and ground vehicle version of radar and scanning here too, and that's going to be great to be able to use. Weapon charge drain tier 0 is here. I think this is going to have some weapons and gear need to be charged in places or charge over time, so it's not just going to be with the multi-tool or the mine tool, it just constantly has an energy sort of, it needs to charge over time, or it needs to have a bit of a rest. I think I don't have a huge amount of details on that yet, so that's what I'm assuming it is. Active feature physical inventory recently changed its name to personal inventory. When implemented, players will be able to physically store weapons, gadgets, consumables, healing items, and more on their person and in vehicles via backpacks, pockets, and containers. This utilizes the new iCache for persistence wherever the player travels. So, they are working towards, and I think it is part of this feature, local inventories that can be interacted with at landing zones, in hubs, and on ships. So this will allow you to have storage areas at each of those locations, and then be able to move stuff from your personal inventory to that local inventory there, and vice versa. Later this year, you can also expect to see more physicalization of items and deeper storage too, and eventually we'll be able to store like weapons in weapons racks and actually be able to see those items there, and it'll be a mixture of some physicalized visually sort of items in places, as well as more of this sort of like local inventories where, yeah, some of this stuff is stored in boxes, which you can't see exactly what's in the box when you're grabbing it out, but they don't want to physicalize everything. That would be madness. As part of deeper lore and bounty hunting gameplay, though, the lore system version 2 surrender system is coming here. This allows players to be arrested without losing their lives. You basically, from what we've heard, you sort of like just, when you get ordered to by security to power down your ship and stop, you can just stop, power down, and then you'll be arrested rather than attacked and destroyed, is the idea. So your ship will be impounded and you'll go to prison if appropriate. I'm also expecting the ability to literally do a surrender emote and the same thing to happen, because I'm expecting security to actually be implemented by here as well, because they had spawn lockers in 3.13. We'll have to wait and see exactly if that's true. The long-awaited missile updates are in 3.14 as well, after being moved from 3.13 to here, actually along with that surrender feature. Missiles will now be controlled under a dedicated missile operator mode, which gives players the option to select and fire specific missiles while operating in ships that allow for different types of missiles and torpedoes. You can select your missiles and torps, great. This also converts missiles to use the IFCS, the Intelligent Flight Computer System, guidance and control systems. This will improve missile performance and tracking ability, enabling greater control over general missile behaviors. So a better system for missiles, which isn't as dumb. I'm hoping that it's also lighter weight on the server and the client, but we'll have to wait and see. There's more in-depth hacking planned as well, so we're getting a proper first pass at the hacking feature, and when implemented, this is going to be used to access systems and areas that have been previously closed off to the player. So expect to see some potential new areas that this will open up. The hacking process will be represented via a mini game that's going to be displayed on our HUD visors, and expect missions to be associated with this immediately. There's general updates and optimizations that they try and put in all of these patches, and part of the engine, iCache, and general optimization they're doing for this is they're updating XML vehicle data to be stored in a new optimized location and format. And I'm expecting lots of other optimizations and bug fixes too, a little bit of an economy rework, expect to see visual improvements and engine updates as they move towards the Gen 12 renderer, iCache, server meshing, etc. You might see some missions, new missions using these new mechanics as well that we've discussed. Cloud Imperium have various events like the Xeno Threat event planned throughout the year, and you are likely going to get one or two more during that 3.14 patch cycle. We might see some straight to flyable ships or vehicles that are as yet unannounced. They go, ha! Secret ships, woo! There could be other features as well that turn up this patch, and every couple of months I update the videos on each of the patch cycles, so we know the latest plans anyway, so sort of bear that in mind. Yes, we could have some of the features move out. However, Cloud Imperium do seem to be trying to be more confident and accurate with their sort of roadmaps now, so hopefully most of that will stay there, more get added, and if we do see any delays, well, we know we'll see the features in the near future anyway. Boom! That's what we know about Alpha 3.14 and what's coming next after 3.13. What are you looking forward to in the 3.14 patch? Do you think anything new will turn up that we didn't mention? What is the most likely feature that could get delayed here? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I'm a massive NordVPN shill. Zin somehow represent shilling on the screen. In the current climate and modern digital age, you want your spaceships and internet browsing histories to remain yours and yours alone. I don't want some guy, let's call him Big Jake. I don't want Big Jake to see what I've been looking at. I don't want to even keep a record of what I've been looking at. No stealing my credit card infos. No. NordVPN provides protection and anonymity, it makes you anonymous, and accessibility to the internet. And if you are looking for a VPN, consider it, because it's also cheap. We use the links below for discounts and deals. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and March is no different. We're giving away a trio of ships, one each to 3 lucky winners. This month with a Origin 100i, 125A and 135C, all with game packages. Zin, have them flying around screen. All you need to do to be in for a chance to win one of those is comment on any of my videos made throughout the month. More details down below in the description. Please remember to like, subscribe and share the video, tickle the bell, whatever that means. It helps grow the channel and helps us make content more regularly. If you would like to further support the channel, please consider becoming a YouTube member with the join button below the video. You'll get some exclusive content each month, as well as a badge and emotes to use in your comments. There's also Patreon and direct donation links too. It's all down in the description below. Click on all of it. All of it. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great March and roll on Alpha 3.13. Say thanks for watching, Zin.
Thanks for watching, Zin.